How's it going, guys? Lugiamasterbrony here from Team House of Eyes, and welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm showcasing my updated Red Eyes Black Dragon deck. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, for starters, we're playing 3 Black Stone of Legend. This is one of our starters for the deck. This is, we contribute it and special summon any level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from our deck. And yeah, plus, it can recycle itself by shuffling back a Red Eyes monster from grave into the deck. Next, we play 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. Now this one is another starter for the deck. This allows us to search either our one of 2 monsters that we typically want to go into, either Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, there we go, and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Plus, you know, it's a nice equip card too. Next, we play 1 copy of Red Eyes Baby Dragon. This is another, this is a special summon for the deck. Like, destroy by battle, and then you can special summon it, and I think equip this to it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you can add one of these guys off of Red Eyes Baby Dragon if it's into the grave while equipped to a monster, which is pretty cool. Next, we play 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. Now this is just a little free special summon for the deck. Plus, it goes from 6 to an honorary level 7, and you can banish this to search Red Eyes Fusion if it's sent to the grave. Yeah. But not on the same turn, which sucks. Next, we play 2 copies of Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Impact. Now, the naming of these cards gets weird sometimes, and this is one of those times where it's just really weird. Now, this one's just kind of for a Red Eyes lock. Basically, once it becomes a monster, it just, my Red Eyes monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Simple as that. Next, we play 1 copy of Summon Skull. This is specifically for one of our fusion monsters. Next, we play 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is like for our fusion plays, for our Xyz plays. Plus, we can use this for our burn plays. Yeah, and if you're wondering, yeah, this deck is kind of a mix of a lot of different Red Eyes plays, but yeah. And then finally, 1 Dark Magician. Well, okay, it's not finally, but out of all the normal monsters, aside from the 1 other Gemini, we have 1 Dark Magician for Red Eyes Darkness Dragoon, plus, you know, Xyz plays if we want to. And then our final Gemini card, Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, which just for burn. Next, we play 2 copies of Red Eyes Soul. Now, this is for special summoning on our opponent's turn. You know, if they, I believe, if your opponent special summons a monsters, yeah, except during the damage step, yeah, you're sending this to the graveyard, and then you can special summon that Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck, which is pretty cool. Also, burn as well. Now, we play 2 copies of Red Eyes Metal Claws Dragon. Now, this is partially for our Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon plays. So, yeah, so if we have our full Metamorph or max Metamorph, like in our graveyard, we can set any card, tribute it off, special summon this, and if Max Metamorph is in the graveyard, we can get that back to our hand or set to the field or whatever. And yeah, it is pretty nice. Plus, we can activate that Max Metamorph same turn. Next, we play one copy of Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. Now, this is specifically, for Xyz plays typically. It's a free special summon. Plus, you can target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it if it's destroyed by opponent's battle or card effect, which is pretty cool. Next, we play one of our negates in the deck. Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. It's pretty nice. It's a nice little negate. And, yeah. And then, burn your opponent for a monster in attack position on their side of the field. I believe it has to be with, just equal to the original attack of one attack position monster, which is pretty nice. Plus, we can use this to search out our Max Metamorph. We set a Max Metamorph from our deck by just revealing this in our hand, shuffling it back into the deck. We get our Max Metamorph, and then we just continue from there, which is pretty cool. Next, we play one Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. This was always my first favorite Red Eyes monster, so that's kind of why I'm playing it. I do not recommend it in a more serious build, but in my build, I play it because, for one, it gains attack points. And that's about it for each dragon-type monster in your graveyard. So, luckily, you only have to tribute a Red Eyes Black Dragon, which Red Eyes Fusion will turn any of your fusion monsters into Red Eyes Black Dragon. And I believe we have another card in here that becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon as well. So you have multiple ways of, getting this out. So, pretty cool. I also like the rarity it comes in, so. And finally, our final monster is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is for, special summoning from the grave or from the hand. Nice little bit of recovery. Moving on to the spells and traps. First, we play 2 copies of Cards of the Redstone. I'm playing it at 2 right now. I might bump it up to 3. I'm not completely sure. But, this is a nice little draw 2 for our deck. Plus, we can send stuff to the graveyard. Pretty nice. Next, we play 2 copies of Red Eyes Insight. Now, this is our searcher for our spells and traps, which is pretty cool. Also, we'll send a Red Eyes monster to the graveyard from hand or deck, Next, we play 2 Catalyst Field. Now, this is mainly for our Gemini plays, but I've always noticed that when I play it at 1, I never see it enough, but 2, it can be a bit tricky. Sometimes I'll see it when I don't want to, but most of the time I get it when I need it, so it's pretty nice. Next, for our fusion cards, we play, for now, 1 Polymerization, 1 The Claw of Heremos, 1 Red Eyes Fusion. 1 Red Eyes Fusion because Red Eyes Fusion is honestly garbage. It's not a good card. Not in a more pure Red Eyes deck, because for one, if you summon out, let's say, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, that's all you can summon. You can't do anything else. You can't even play this card after doing any kind of summoning, so that's why it would combo pretty well with that Verte Anaconda, because you could send that to the graveyard, and you'd ignore the summon restrictions where you can't summon anything. But you just gain the effect of you can't summon for the rest of the turn or whatever. Claw of Heremos, that's mainly to bring out one of our fusions. Polymerization is just for like every other fusion in our deck. I'm probably going to bump Poly to 2. So, yeah. And now for our one-ofs. We play 1 Called by the Grave for protection. 1 for 1. 1 for 1. To, get out our level 1 monsters. Monster Reborn to bring back basically any of our monsters. And Foolish Burial to get stuff in the grave. Moving on to the traps. We're playing 2 copies of Max Metamorph. This gives an attack boost, plus the monster cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. And it can't be destroyed by battle either, I think. Cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with spell or monster effects. So, yeah, or spell cards or effects. So, like, they can't just equip something onto it to steal it or whatever, or to lower its attack. Next, we play 1 Red Eye Spirit, which is for another Monster Reborn for the deck. We play 1 Red Eye's Fang with Chain. This is just for equipping, gives our monsters double attacks. Plus, we can equip one monster on the field and equip it to the monster that this was equipped to. But the monster's attack becomes equal to that monster's attack. So, kind of a bit of a downside there. And then finally, for our main deck, we're playing 1 copy of Return of the Red Eyes. This is for reborning our normal monsters. And with that, we'll move on to our extra deck. First, we play 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. This is just, for the Claw of Heremos plays. But once it's on the field, you equip it to a monster immediately. Although if there is no monster, then you just don't. So typically, you kind of want to do this last, because you could equip it to, like, let's say, theoretically, we could equip it to, like, our, Meteor Black Comet Dragon or something like that, which would give it a bunch of attacks. So it'll give it 1,000 attack and then 500 attack and defense for each dragon type monster on the field and in the graveyards, which is neat. Doesn't do anything more than that, but yeah. Next, we play 3 copies of Meteor Black Comet Dragon. Now, this is strictly for burn plays, plus it's a nice 3,500 beat stick. Next, we play 1 copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, Negate and Destruction. We play 1 copy of Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. This also does, I believe, burn. And, if it attacks, your opponent cannot respond to it. So it's kind of like Utopia the Lightning in that sense. Next, we play 1 copy of 5-Headed Dragon. This card's getting replaced, but for now, we are just playing 1 copy of Time Thief Verdure. Can't bring it out, but it will be replaced. I'm not sure with what yet. Next, we play 3 copies of Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon. This is strictly for, burn, and again, another Monster Reborn for the deck. Red Eyes has a lot of ways of bringing back their monsters, Mainly like their normal monsters, but it is pretty nice to have. Next, we play 1 copy of Number 11, Big Eye. This is just for stealing our opponent's stuff. 1 Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is mainly just to, link off our Black Metal Dragon if we can't, special summon it. So yeah, we just link that off and then search out either, our Full Metal or Darkness Metal. And then finally, we're playing Darkness Metal, the Dragon of Dark Steel. This card, brings back a monster that's banished or in the graveyard. And then special summon it to his own discard points 2 in defense, but its effects are negated. Also, you cannot special summon link monsters for the rest of this turn. And the summon monster is placed on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field, but it's nice to have this. Plus, you know, looks like a Red Eyes monster, so hey, might as well play it, right? Anyway, if you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to subscribe to my main channel, Lugiamasterbrony, for occasional, you know, Gravekeeper deck profiles. Yeah, I have my main channel for specifically Gravekeeper deck profiles and whatever other videos I want to upload. But yeah, that's my deck profile for now. I will see you guys later. Peace out.